Rahim.
नए वक्तन फ़ोक्तन
Huzur says that
ऐसे ईमान अफरोज़
I occasionally, from time to time, I present such faith increasing incidents which are related to the acceptance of Ahmadiyyat by those people, or after their acceptance of Ahmadiyyat, the very spiritual experience of those people after that, are the blessings which are descending upon the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, and as a result of that, the increase in the faith of the members of the Jamaat, they consist all these subjects. Many people write to me or express their opinion that such incidents, this should continue. Keep on telling us these, because there are very interesting incidents, and also they attract the attention of the children, the youngsters. In their life, this becomes a cause of their improvement, and also in the improvement of our own conditions, they are very helpful. And they serve as a reminder for improving our own condition. Some born Ahmadis, they say that these faith increasing and inspiring examples of the new converts, that is sometime putting us to shame, and draws our attention that we should also try to increase in our faith. Similarly, some new converts, they also express the opinion that through these examples, that increases our faith. But along with that, there are some people living in these Western countries, are such people, those who consider themselves as very knowledgeable or very advanced. These people have come from Pakistan, but the world has attracted them so much, or they have been involved in the world so much and absorbed in that they don't pay any attention to Allah Almighty, or they do not pay that attention which is the responsibility of an Ahmadi to have such attention, and that is also the right of God Almighty. And those people who believe the promised Messiah ﷺ, and it is their responsibility for those who believe in the promised Messiah. These people and the Allah Almighty and the community established by Allah Almighty, firstly, they don't pay attention to discharge the responsibilities, and if they have some attention, that is so small, almost negligible. They are unmindful and not paying attention to discharging their responsibilities, and their responsibilities, they don't consider much about that, or very less. Such people, these things which are mentioned by the new converts, are such examples which are incidents which are the source of spiritual progress and increase in spirituality. These people, by way of criticism, they do mention this thing, that these incidents, these which are related to the baths or the increase of the faith, these are only in Africa and the people in Asia. Why these are only connected with that? Why the people living in Europe, they do not have such examples? Why they don't have the dreams and get the guidance from Allah Almighty? Why by reading the religious books, they are not directed to the acceptance of Ahmadiyyat, and why don't they have the spiritual experience? Huzur says that the very first thing is that the people living in Europe and those who pay attention to religion, they also are given the signs by God Almighty. And for the increase in their faith, Allah Almighty from Himself makes the arrangement for that. Here in Britain, many new converts are such, are the people locally living here. Those who have done the Bai'at, some time has passed by, and every day their faith is increasing and becoming stronger and stronger, whether they are new converts or they have joined some time earlier. And they are passing through such experience, which is really surprising. And this experience increases them in their faith in God Almighty and become the source of further increase in that. And the reality of the Jamaat becomes clear to them. And their devotion and dedication to Khilafat, they are increasing in that. There are men and the ladies both. Lajna Khudam Ansar in their Ijtimaat, they do mention these things in their own Ijtimaat gatherings. And some people mentioned on MTA, which are very inspiring and faith increasing. Anyway, the people living in the West, the people living there, those who are paying attention to religion and religious matters, Allah Almighty shows them the signs. The truth of Ahmadiyyat becomes manifest for them. But there is a section of the people who do not believe the reality and the truth of Ahmadiyyat, but the excellence of Islam and its superiority over other religions through the Ahmadiyyat. This thing becomes clear for them. And there are so many examples, such incidents, which after my visits and tours and after the annual gatherings, the Jalsa Salana, I do mention. But the most important thing worth remembering is that Allah the Almighty guides that person who turns to Allah Almighty for this purpose. And if a person is such who is involved in worldly matters, and as if there is no intent, no relationship, no connection with religion, and the person is bent upon corrupting and wasting his future, so then Allah Almighty does not care these people, and they are deprived from the guidance and the acceptance of the truth. And the history of the prophets tells us the same thing, that those people who pay attention to religion and then eventually those who accept, they are generally speaking are the poor people, and among the modest and humble people, normally they have the yearning to go towards Allah Almighty, and they also have the fear of Allah in their hearts. The worldly people and those people who consider themselves mighty and powerful, they always say, which Allah Almighty has mentioned, that what's your worth? Razaluna Badi Rai. That means that the people who believe they appear to be very low people. So the worldly people, they are the victim of arrogance, and because of their arrogance, and secondly, because they are completely involved in worldly matters, they don't have the time to pay attention to religion. And this a large number of people among Europeans, they have turned atheist, or in the Western countries, they have all become atheist. So when they don't care for God, so then Allah Almighty also does not care for these people, that He should be guiding them to the right path. The promised Messiah ﷺ depicting these worldly people, he says that in Surah Al-Asr, Allah Almighty has given the examples of the life of the believers and non-believers. The life of the non-believer is just like animals, beastly life. Those who are simply in eating and drinking and sexual, relation. Apart from that, they don't have any interest in anything. These people, they eat just like the animals, and that is their only job. But Allah Almighty, He says that if an animal eats the food, but when the time to till the land is concerned, then that animal does not stand up and work. So in olden days, that was the common thing, and in olden days here in this country as well, the horses are used. But when the time for serving comes, then he sits down. It sits down. Then what will happen? What will be the result of that? The owner will immediately take such an animal to the slaughterhouse and sell it over there. And similarly, regarding those people who do not follow the commandments of Allah Almighty, nor they care for that, and their life is spent in vices and crimes. So then Allah Almighty says, Kul ma yaba'u bikum Rabbi lawla du'aukum. That my Lord, what does He care for you if you do not worship Him? So Allah Almighty cares for those people who turn to God Almighty and they seek guidance from Him. Hadhrat promised Messiah ﷺ, on this subject, he says that truthfulness is a great wealth, is a great thing, and without that the pure actions, the good deeds are not complete. Allah Almighty does not leave His tradition, and the people also don't leave their way. So He says that وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا, that those people who in God Almighty they struggle hard for that, then Allah Almighty opens up the ways for that people. So those people who put in best efforts, and always they are very mindful of this thing, that they should find the way of Allah, then Allah Almighty gives them the guidance. They increase in their faith and also make further progress. And some people are such that because of some of their good deeds, Allah Almighty gives them the blessings and shows them the right way. So those incidents that we mention, they are the faith increasing events of these people, and the examples of that, and how they was given to the right path, guidance to the right path. And there are some among them, as I mentioned, those who get special blessings of Allah Almighty, and because of something good in them and some piety in them, Allah Almighty shows them the right path. Huzur says that the example of the increase in faith, there are some spiritual incidents I have collected today. From Burkina Faso, Amir Sahib writes that in a village, Likim, there was local missionary went for tabligh, and after the tabligh, when he wanted to accept the bath, then an old lady did the bath, only one lady. And Morden Sahib told the people in the village that 15 kilometers away there is a mosque. If you need some more information about the community, so then you are most welcome to go there. And we also arrange for the Jummah prayer there. Anyway, the bath was done by that old lady. Morden Sahib says that because of heavy rains, the path between the village and the mosque, and there is a small canal, so that was filled with water. So then this old lady who did the bath, she took her prayer mat and she tried to go to that mosque despite all this situation, and this small canal was full of water, and she chose to spread the mat over there, that I have offered the prayer with the Ahmadis, because my intention was to offer the prayer along with the Ahmadis. And he says that after 1 month, when the water level subsided and that lady came to the mission and he related the whole thing. And this was her devotion after becoming Ahmadi. And she related the whole thing. And then the Muslim went to that village for Tabligh once again and told the people there that this old lady was in search of truth. She accepted the truth. Allah Almighty gave him the blessing, and she offered the sacrifice, and she used to sit outside and pray there and come back because it was not possible, but that was because of her devotion. So when the Muslim related the whole incident, and then the other people over there, by looking at the devotion of this old lady, very close relatives were also there. A further 30 people, they did the bath. So in this way, Allah Almighty made these people to believe. And there are some people who accept the Ahmadiyya through the dreams. In France, a lady, Asiya by name, she did the bath. She says that I want to detail of my bath for this reason, for this purpose, that you would be happy to listen to that and include me in your blessed community. One day on the internet, as usual, some in search of new channels. Then I happened to see Al-Hawar al-Mubashir, the channel was there, and the subject of death of Hadhrat Isa alayhi salam was there. And without any doubt in my mind, in a very civilized way, and I was utterly surprised to see such powerful arguments and reasons. And previously I have seen in dream that I am just about to fall into a deep well, and I am holding the side of the well, and my legs are inside. And I saw there 3 or 4 white birds. They were white birds, but I don't know what were those birds. They tried to help me. I did not understand this dream in the beginning, but then I realized that these are the members of the Al-Hawar al-Mubashir, those who were shown in the form of the birds. And I was not aware that the founder of the community claimed to be the Imam Mahdi and the promised Messiah. But later on I came to know, and then I read the books of the promised Messiah, and I did not see anything against Islam. Rather, opposite to that one in his person, I saw the regarding Islam and the Holy Prophet ﷺ. I found him a very powerful defender, a very great stalwart who was establishing the authority of Islam to these people. So then I did istikhara, and 2 days after that, one friend of mine told me that she has seen in the dream that that lady and this lady, and they are in the house of my mother-in-law, and there was one room which was very comfortable and full of light. So I said that this room is very good, I am going to stay there. So from this dream I inferred that I should join the community, and I have done the bath. Through MTA, there is another lady in Turkey. She says that I want to explain to you the detail of my doing bath. 2010, I came to know about the community. I joined the community, and I saw that my husband watches MTA Al Arabiya very keenly with great interest, and I also started watching, and sometime I used to see it in his absence as well. So he used to say that you do the bath if you are satisfied, but I said that I can't take and he said that I cannot take the responsibility. And then I saw a documentary about the Dajjal, and their interpretation was very logical and reasonable. So then I continued to watch MTA more and more, And I started seeing the program of Ivar and started offering Tahajjud prayer regularly. And once it so happened, Abdul Qadir Audhe Sahib, he visited. So then I did the bath. And then my daughter-in-law did the bath. And we came to know that this is actually truly the Islam, true Islam. And she says that the day I did the bath, I saw in the dream, I am reciting the verses of Suratul Kahf. So then I was confident that Allah Almighty is going to protect us from the evils of Dajjal. And it's thank God that Allah Almighty gave me the faith and Allah Almighty enabled me to discharge this responsibility. So in this way, the people themselves, they write their own dreams and incidents, and they are one means of praying more for these people. And then regarding the establishment of new Jamaats, how Allah Almighty establishes new Jamaats. Abdul Qudus Sahib in Benin, a missionary, he says that Maulam Zakaria, he went to a village for tabligh, for preaching. And I said that somebody said that the people have gone for their work, so you come on Friday, so the people will be here. When Maulam Sahib went there again on Jummah. So after entering into the mosque, the Maulam Sahib offered 2 rakats, and with the permission of the Imam and the committee, he started doing tabligh, and he explained the subject, and the people started raising the slogans of Allah Akbar when the tabligh was over. So then the president of the masjid committee said that I was born a Muslim, but until today I had not heard the commentary of Surah Al-Fatiha. If this is the preaching, this is the belief of the Jamaat Ahmadiyya. So then I congratulated all the people that we accept this Jamaat. So including the Imam, the Muslim committee, all members, they accepted Ahmadiyyat, and a new Jamaat was established in that village. He says that the mullah over there, he showed a very strong reaction, and when people and he asked our people that don't come to this village again. And when our Maulim went there in connection with Ijtima of Khudam, and he requested Khudam to join the Ijtima, that this mullah also again stopped them and stopped the youngsters to go there. But the new Ahmadi youngsters, Khudam, they rejected his plea, and they all attended the Ijtima. So in this way, Allah Almighty discourages the opponent mullahs and supports the community. Regarding the establishment of new Jamaats, there is another incident. The Murabbi Sahib says that by the grace of Allah, Ahmadiyyat has been established in a new area, Same district, Savani. There was no Ahmadi there, and we visited this area again and again. We distributed leaflets, and the Jamaat, the books and newspapers were distributed. As a result of that, by the grace of Allah, not only we are getting baths, but formally the Jamaat has been established, and by the grace of Allah, the plot is being purchased for the mosque, and the local people, they are preparing to build a mosque over there. But along with that, the other Muslims, they have started opposition, and the opponents of the Jamaat, they are creating divisions among the people, and and we have got the permission from the administration, and we arranged a debate in the village, and all the people were invited, and I asked the Sunni ulama that if they are true, then you come and we will discuss the matter in front of them. So according to the arranged program, the debate took place, and many non-Ahmadis, they participated, but none from the Sunni mullahs were present there. So the people in the village, they came to know that except for creating division among the people, these people have got nothing to present. So Allah Almighty makes the arrangement of guidance through various ways to those people who really pay attention to religion and they are inclined to religious matters. Amir Sahib Burkina Faso says that in one village, Nadir, we went for tabligh and a large number of people did the bath. In one mosque, the Mullim was appointed, the Jummah started there, and the non-Ahmadi mullah started to create a problem there. And exactly at the time of the Jummah, he would come to the mosque and he would incite the people against the community. But the Jamaat continues to increase, but the non-Ahmadi mullah couldn't do anything. So he set up another mosque in front of the Ahmadiyya mosque, and he said that the Ahmadiyya mosque would be simply a storage place and nobody would go there. But he and his relatives offer in that mosque and in our mosque, by the grace of Allah, the number of the worshippers increased, and the attendance at Jummah is 200 to 250 people in a small place. The acceptance of prayer, how Allah Almighty shows the manifestation of that. The missionary Sahib, Ansar Sahib in Benin, he writes that in one village, Asyon by name, we achieved 200 baths. Now every Jummah and every Saturday we have a Tarbiyati class there, and the daughter of the one person was living in a village, and she became very seriously ill there. When I went to their village, then the president of the Jamaat told me that pray and also write to the Khalifa of the time for prayer, and we wrote immediately, and they wrote a letter to me. And next day when I went there for the second time, then the people told that the girl is unable to move or to talk. They took her to hospital, but there is no improvement. So they were disappointed. They brought the girl back, and a Maulvi came and he did some dam, and he charged 40,000 yen, but and took one goat as well, but it was not helpful at all. And despite the expense, there was the people were completely disappointed from the people. We thought that she is going to die now, and we just took that girl to the house of the father. And when they brought her there, then the father of the girl, he asked the local Jamaat and also wrote a letter to me. Just after one day, she started moving, and by the evening, the sickness was completely gone. And while nobody was thought that she was going to survive, but now by looking at that, nobody can say that she was ever sick. So this is also the proof of the truthfulness of the promised Messiah. From Burkina Faso, a Mullim, Sunday Kareem Sahib, he said that we went to one village for tabligh. When we went there, so we sought the permission for preaching. They said that the missionary came before and some people did the bath, but all the people have not done the bath. So you do tabligh, so those people who have remained behind, they can join. So for a long time there was a question answer session, and the elder said after that we did accept the Ahmadiyyat, but there are certain things which are not so clear. But today I have seen myself that if anybody is serving the cause of Islam, they are the Ahmadis, because dedicatedly and regularly you are dedicated to this work. We are with you. And the Imam, he said the people that those people who have not done before, they should do it. And 73 more people joined the community. So now Allah Almighty is opening up their hearts and enabling them to accept the Ahmadiyya, the true Islam. So then it is a blessing of Allah to say that why it is only there, because these people are very attached with religion, and they sit there whole night and listen to question answer and religious matters. The people here in this country, they don't have enough time to sit for these religious meetings and to indulge in question answer. In India, Naib Nazir Dawat-e-Lillah, he writes that Lakhimpur, in a city, Abdul Sattar Sahib, we established the contact with him. When we met him, he started crying bitterly, and he said that we used to live in a village, and we had a more than 50 acres. We had the land, and we joined the community 12 years ago. But after that, the opposition was so strong that the opponents, they stoned our house and threw them away from the house, and they injured my son and broke the arm of my wife. And so then, under this situation, we just sold out our property on whatever money we got, and we left the village. We moved into a small house, but the opponents, they did not leave us alone, and they reached there, and they asked the Muslims to be against them. And these Muslims, they became our enemy, and during this period our contact with the Jamaat was also discontinued. But Allah Almighty shows us the sign of Ahmadiyyat. A great sign was shown that these opponents who are opposing us, those who are going to a place in order to attend a wedding, and the bus collided with the train, and 28 people of them, they died, and those who survived, they were very severely injured, and the dead bodies were difficult to recognize, and the parts of the body scattered all over. And when we came to know about this incident, so then we went to see the injured people, and at that time the relatives of the dead people, they were feeling so ashamed they did not face us. And at that time, those people who survived, one of the non-Ahmadi mullah, and we invited them, the family of Abdul Sattar Sahib, to the mosque, and asked them that you should apologize to the Ahmadis, and the boycott that you are doing it, that is wrong. So after this incident, the opposition subsided and became very quiet, and our link with the community was broken, so that was also revived. And all these people, they did the bath after that. So those people who become Ahmadi and knowingly they become Ahmadi, then Allah Almighty gives strength to their faith. A Kosovo missionary writes, a great, a famous scholar, this is the name, he was the Imam of the great mosque in the capital, and he was professor as in Department of Islamiyat, and he was very popular in the city. And he also presented programs against the community on the radio, and very inciting type of speeches, and also on internet as well. He was doing the propaganda against the community. Allah Almighty revenged in this way, that first about his person, behavior, the allegations were there, and then there were some cases, and then he was arrested for blackmailing, and in financial matters he was thrown away, and all the responsibilities were taken away him. And there were some other ulama who were against the Jamaat and inciting the people against the community. And then during the year, for inciting hatred among the community, the society, these people were arrested. Never ever happened like this, that the leading scholars of the country, they've met so much disgrace as they have done. And then the Ahmadis, those who are in the country, their faith was strengthened by looking at that. And the injustice done against the new converts, and some examples I have mentioned earlier on. From India, I mentioned some examples. And there is another example from village in UP, that the whole village people, they did the bath, but some people went back. And one Ahmadi who was very strong in Ahmadiyyat, he was opposed strongly, but he protected his faith. And during this period of opposition, his son of Hanif Sahib, passed away. And when the son was being buried in the graveyard, so they stopped him, and they said that you leave the Ahmadiyyat only, then we will allow you to bury. But the Hanif Sahib was very strong in his faith, and he himself led the janaza prayer with the children, And then he said that I will bury my son in the courtyard of my house. And when we met them, and when the other people there, when these people were asked that why didn't you contact the center? So these people, that the center of Ahmadiyya in Lucknow that has been destroyed, and the school has also finished, and the contact with the Qadian was not possible. But despite that, he was very strong in his faith, and he remained an Ahmadi, and Allah Almighty wanted to give him the guidance. He was steadfast in that, and all those people who did the Bai'at for some other reason, they left the community, but he was very firm. From every coast, there is one example. There is an example of injustice there, and torture. And somebody accepted Ahmadiyyat. He informed his brothers, and they replied that if you don't renounce Ahmadiyyat within 3 days, then his head he is going to be beheaded. And there were some other people along with him, and but he was very firm, and he did not suffer. He suffered a loss financially, but he did not care for that. The Amir of France says that now by the grace of Allah, through MTA, the facility of contact has been established through MTA, and now my sermons go everywhere. The opponents, they also listen to that. There is a impact of that. He relates one incident. Amir Sahib relates that a person, Daniel Sahib, he joined the community by doing the Bai'at. He says that before the Bai'at, he was living in Mayotte Island, which is a French island. In Mayotte, in the mosque where he used to go, the Imam used to, on MTA, they used to listen the Friday sermon. And when I mentioned about the death of Hadhrat Isa alayhi salam, so he also mentioned that I was very much influenced. The Imam of the mosque told me that Jamaat Ahmadiyya, that he introduced the Ahmadiyya community, and he said the Imam was a very nice person, and he told us that you pray that Allah may guide us to the right path. I was very much impressed by that, and Imam Sahib asked us to gather the information about the community. So on the internet I got the information, gathered the information on internet about the death of Hadhrat Isa. So then in French language there were some videos available which were regarding this subject, and also on YouTube, and also the translation of the khutbah regarding this subject in French was also available. So after that I did my Bai'at. So Amir Sahib says that the missionary in charge in Mayotte, he got a connection with him. So then this Imam was sent some Jamaati literature from the center, and that Imam along with 70 people, he has alhamdulillah joined the community. And it was a blessing of Allah Almighty that thousands of miles away in a small island, the khutbah becomes the means of tabligh. And this is the blessing of Allah Almighty which He has given us through MTA. And what is the impact of the books on the non-Muslims? Congo, Brazil, the Muallim writes from there that a new convert, he related the incident of his Bai'at, that once I went to my younger brother, and I saw a book in French, and this was the true story of Jesus. So I took this book from him, and I mentioned to my priest about this book. So the priest said that without knowing the reality, don't read such books, you may lose your faith. So but when I read the book, then it opened my eyes, and I came to know that these priests, they hide so many things. So then I read the book again and checked the reference from the Bible. I contacted my brother who had already joined the community, and I asked him that where did you get this book from and who are these people? He told me that this is the publication of Jamaat Ahmadiyya, and I have to go to the mission house of Jamaat after a few days, and there is a jalsa taking place in Germany. So come with me and let's go together. And then all the questions you may ask over there. So then we went to the mission house, and we saw the atmosphere of the jalsa Germany. And he said that they listened to my sermons, and they were completely transformed. And during the jalsa of Germany, during that period, I did my bath. And he says that I am very happy, and now I am feeling that there is a purpose of life which has not been accomplished. And there are some very pious changes after the bath. A new converts from Uzbekistan, a young man, Zahir Wahid Sahib, he relates that Hadhrat the Massih Maud after knowing his tafsir Fatiha, and then the style of offering my prayer has changed. Now I find in my prayer which I did not find before, especially the interpretation of this hadith has given me great benefit which I did not understand, in which the meaning of ihsan has been explained. Kosovo, the missionary from there writes that new converts in their devotion and sacrifice, they are increasing very fast. A person, Saghir Balai Sahib, he is in charge of a department in the town committee, and despite his responsibilities, he is very active, and he is always ready to take part in Tarbiyat program. He is always ready to go for waqf in neighboring city, and through him we have got so many contacts. Once there was a tabligh function, and despite being very seriously ill, he joined that program. And during the program, when he was feeling too much weak, then he went to his home, and the wife applied the drip, and when he was feeling better, then he again came and joined the tabligh program. And he was busy till late in tabligh. So this is the dedication and the condition of these people who are the new converts in those countries. From Congo, Brazil, the Mollam Sahib writes from there, Ibrahim Sahib, that a numberdar of a officer of the village, and every evening he drinks and then uses foul language, but now I have seen that since he have accepted, he has stopped abusing and drinking, both the things. And these are the changes which Allah Almighty creates among the new converts. From Burkina Faso, a new convert, he relates that when I was non-Ahmadi, I was under so many difficulties, and my difficulties were there. I used to go to the graves, and other people, they used to say that you bring the goats and this and that, so all your worries will be over. But when I listened to the message of Jamaat Ahmadiyya, I liked it, and I joined this community. And that money which I used to spend for these mullahs, then I started giving as contribution. So I saw that all my difficulties have been solved, and Allah Almighty has blessed me with the living children. And some people, those people realized that now he is no longer coming to us, and they came to know that he has become an Ahmadi. And the mullah says that whatever was the religion of your forefathers, why have you abandoned that? So I told them that I am very happy. Allah Almighty has given me the children who are alive, and I give contribution. Allah Almighty gives me more, double. This is all the blessings of Allah Almighty. Allah Almighty has changed the condition of my heart. Whatever I do, I am blessed. So Allah Almighty has guided me to this pious path. So it is not the path of my forefathers and the wrong path. The baths take place through radios in Benin. The missionary from there writes that in one village in my region, a Christian person, Suraj Orphan, he one day on our radio program, during the program, he questioned regarding the second advent of Jesus, and he also invited us to come to his place when we met him later on, and when we answered this question. And we logical arguments and from the Bible, when the arguments were there, he was satisfied, and he admitted that Jamaat Ahmadiyya, their point of view is right, and Hadhrat Isa alayhi salam was only a prophet, and his second coming has taken place in the form of the advent of the promised Messiah. It has been fulfilled. And he understood this point, and he entered into Islam Ahmadiyyat. And then he mentioned that another person that he has been watching our program and listening to that very regularly, and 2 days of the week he listens particularly. He listens the programs, and he, especially from the work, he comes back to his house to listen to that program. And if the people are in search, then Allah Almighty gives the guidance, as Allah Almighty has mentioned. The missionary from Bolivia, he writes, Ghalib Sahib, that William Shaheen Sahib, those at one time was a priest of Jehovah's Witness. He is from Lebanon, and he was a born Christian, and for the last 3 years he was living in Bolivia. I got to get the information regarding this sect when I met him and had the first meeting. Then instead of telling me about his group, he started asking questions about Islam and my Ahmadiyya community. So in this meeting, the beliefs of the Ahmadiyya was mentioned, and regarding the Tisa al-Islam in detail it was mentioned. So I asked them to come for the Friday prayer. So he started coming regularly for the Jummah, and every time after the Jummah he would discuss several things with me. And William Sahib was thinking that if he joined the community, then his parents and the people of the church will oppose that, and therefore he will have to find a new job. But otherwise he gave importance to the search of the truth. And so he started reading the books on the Jamaat website in Arabic. And after the study he said that he was in search of truth for a long time, but now he has found it. So without caring for any jobs, one day after the Jummah he did the Bai'at by the grace of Allah and joined the community. And the message influences the people. The good impact is there, whether they do the Bai'at. Kamran Bashir Sahib from Australia, he says that we plan to go door to door and do the tabligh. We knocked at the door. A person from inside, he was trembling, he came out, and I was thinking that perhaps he's going to attack me. Rabbi Sahib says that in this state of rage, he said that since you Muslims have come, the peace of our country has been destroyed. So you leave our country, and you don't want to get integrated with us. So when he finished whatever he said, then I told him that you are right, that there are some people who are extremists and they are presenting Islam in a negative way. But our teaching is a message of love for all, hatred for none. And Jamaat Ahmadiyya, whichever country they go, they get integrated with the local people. And when the children play together, and I am newcomer here, I have become the member of the library. So there are so many things I mentioned. So that person who was full of rage, and I thought that perhaps he is going to attack me, he was very happy, and he said, I would like to take a photograph with you. I asked him to come to the mission. He came. He accepted the invitation. So it is the blessing of Allah Almighty that Allah Almighty is molding and softening the hearts of the people to accept Ahmadiyyat. Last time I mentioned there are some asylum seekers, they should do the tabligh. I mentioned in one asylum seeker from Germany. He mentions his incident that there was the final protocol with the judge, and he asked me that, do you distribute the flyers of my community? I said, yes, I do flyers. So that he asked me that on what places do you distribute? I mentioned certain places. The judge said it is all right. So I also got a flyer. So now you go and I accept your case. So in this way, the tabligh becomes the means of having the decision in his favor. From Australia, the Kamran Sahib again says that some youngsters, young people are very reluctant in doing certain things. They feel shy that what these people would say when we go out. And by the grace of Allah, here now the introduction of Jamaat has been gone to that extent that this hesitation in some youngsters that has been removed, but in some places it is there. One tabligh arrangement was arranged with Khudam, and Khudam were told that they should go out wearing the Jamaat shirts and do the tabligh to the people. A Khadim said that I feel ashamed of wearing this shirt on which the Ahmadiyyat is written. So I told him that they would come for this very reason. You put it on and go out. So exactly this happened. And when the group of Khudam al-Ahmadiyya went out, people started taking our photographs and also took our interviews. And so many opportunities of tabligh were there. And after that, this very Khadim was telling his colleagues that first I was feeling shy to wear this shirt, but now I have come to know that all the blessings are linked with the name of the Jamaat. So Allah Almighty, in this way Allah Almighty makes the arrangement for the tarbiyat of the youngsters. So Allah the Almighty has revealed to the promised Messiah, Fahana Antoana, that Vatorafu Banan Nas, that the promised Messiah says that I was told that a time will come when you will be helped and you will be recognized by the people. And this is the meaning of this. And you will be well known among the people. So this, and then in 1983 this was revealed to him. And after that it was revealed twice. So at that time nobody knew him at all. And he says that is it the plan of a human being or his planning? No, certainly it is the doing of Allah Almighty, that first He gives the news and exactly, and He is the one who knows the unseen, and He can know everything. So and then later on it happens, and it happens every day almost. The introduction of the promised Messiah is increasing, and more people are joining the community. He says that Allah Almighty gives the information that a time is going to come that you will become famous in the world. And exactly it happened, and now we see that now by the grace of Allah, the name of the promised Messiah and the name of the community, name of Islam is spreading all over the world. In the voice which came from a very unknown place, this has come to all parts of the globe. And regarding the countries, regarding that, I may mention, some people say it is an exaggeration that there is not so many countries as we mention, because the membership of UNO is 190 or so. So maybe the membership of UNO is like that, but the number, there are 220 countries in the world. And recently on BBC, with reference to sports, they also mentioned that this program is being seen, this will be seen in 220 countries of the world. So with the reference of UN, and then to create this thing that the Jamaat exaggerates this number of the Ahmadiyyat, and we have created the mosque from the countries of our own. This is totally wrong, and this should be taken out from the mind. Allah Almighty enables us that we should convey the message to the people, and the message which the promised Messiah ﷺ has asked us to convey this message in the world, we should become like that.